Welcome back to 59 Minutes. We are speaking with Jonah KERICH. He's the author of the book, Breaking the Glass Ceiling, A Student's Guide to Educational Success. We are talking about his journey and how he even got into authoring this particular book. So you told us how you had to redo Form 4. You then went to university. Here you are teaching English and literature. Oh, there is something, by the way, because I don't want to give so much about your book, because, you know, they must get it.
They have to buy it and even to read.
There's something you say about, the monster called fear.
Yes.
And I liked something you wrote. You know, when I was reading your book, something really stuck with me. It got into me and I was like, yeah, it's true. You asked the question, if there was no fear, what would you do? And I asked myself that question, assuming, you know, how kids are afraid, and, you know, you have to tell them, ni moto. They'll go touch it.
Yes.
And too many of us grown-ups are too afraid. We are afraid to start a business. We are afraid to go to school. We are afraid to try something new, even a new career, even a new hobby. Even sometimes we are always so cautious. You know, asking ourselves, will it work? What will they say? How will it be perceived? What if I fail? What if I fail? You know, that's a big question. Yeah. Tell me about this monster called fear and how you're applying it when you're talking to students.
You know, when it comes to fear, you realize that each and every person is struggling with some fears in life. You could be having a fear that, as you have said, you have a fear that, supposing you start a business and it fails, you see? But you fail to understand that if you don't overcome that fear, you cannot get what you want to do or what you have to get. So each and every time we have a lot of fears. And at times we have the challenge, or even that fear itself, we cannot even challenge our comfort zones. We find ourselves so comfortable that we cannot get to something new. We don't want even to explore something new that can build you. We are so fearful. But until we realize that, until you overcome that fear, you cannot excel. You cannot get to your destiny. It's all about overcoming it for you to get to your destiny.
Yeah, someone said today is the tomorrow you feared yesterday. Leo ndo ile jana.
Yes.
Ndo ile kesho ulikuwa unaogopa jana.
Yeah. But you know, until you achieve it, when you overcome that fear, you realize, kumbe it was this easy, you know? That's the time you celebrate the decision you made.
What would you personally say was your greatest fear?
The latest fear.
Your greatest one?
Oh, the greatest fear. My greatest fear was what people will say. You see?
Perception.
The perception mentality. Yes. Most of the time, even we realize that we want to tend so much to understand that we want to know what people will say about you. If you make this decision today, what will people say? And takes me back. When I was going back to school to repeat, of course there was that mind that, what will people say, you know? But until you say that, it doesn't matter what people will say. I have what I have to pursue. You have a purpose. Until you have a purpose and pursue it, the people will always speak, but it doesn't matter. What matters is you pursue what you want.
You pursue what you want. True.
Yeah.
You talk about the question of who mentors you. Why is that important? And why did you write that particular thing? Who mentors you?
As I'm saying, what I said, and I'm saying is, we have a lot of inexperiences. We are learning. In this world, we learn a lot, and we learn daily. So we realize that until you have a mentor, until you have somebody who will coach you up, you might realize that it might be hard at times to make some decisions. So if you have a mentor, this mentor at least will give you direction, because this person has been there, has been through such kind of experiences. So if you have this mentor, the mentor at least you can consult. And this person will be able to, this is your confidant actually. So the confidant will give you direction. So it's very important, especially with this kind of generation, it is very important at least you have somebody who will give you direction in life.
Yeah, but how do you get one? Young people will ask you that. Maybe they want to, you know, the person they want to mentor them is unreachable.
Uh-huh.
You know, maybe in a high place, it's a personality. You're like, I wish that guy would mentor me. But then, so how do you go around picking a mentor, even around you?
Yes.
Now, and do you pick a mentor, or does a mentor pick you?
You pick a mentor, and then you inform the mentor that you're my mentor. Can you please mentor me? Let me tell you, nobody will say no.
Yeah?
At least somebody will appreciate it, because at least the person you are, you can motivate somebody, you can inspire somebody with what you have been doing or what you're doing. Yeah. So that gets back to that fear. Can you be able to break that, what I call ceiling, for you to reach such a person? Until you inform the person, until you get to that person, regardless of the personality, it might be hard. You see? Yes.
It might be hard.
Yeah.
So it's a question of, so if you're speaking to young people today in terms of going out and picking a mentor, what would you tell them in terms of approach? How do you do it?
You know, of course, each and every mentor will want to know, why are you thinking about being a mentor? What do you want to achieve? What are your dreams? And what are your passions? So you have to come out clear and tell them, or the people that, this mentor, that this is my objective. Maybe in terms of career, that one day, one time, I aspire to be like you. So after that, at least you build that rapport between you and that person who qualifies to be a mentor. Yes.
And then something will develop from there.
Yep.
So if, you know, for you, you say, well, you talk about 7 roadblocks to success. You talk about valuing your education, unlocking your potential. Let's talk about living a purpose-driven life. How important is that?
Yes. You realize that each and every time, it is paramount to be objective. You have to set your priorities right. You have to set that I want to achieve this and this. What are your short-term goals? What are your long-term goals? You see, they have to be clear first. You see, for you to have that, even to live that purpose-driven life, you have to do what? You have to have both there. You have to set your targets clear. Yes.
So you make sure you put it down first. Not a very easy thing for many people to do.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I can imagine. I see you even quoted Pepe Minambo. I know that gentleman.
Yeah.
So you have a book you've written. You've talked about many of these things, trying to give direction to the young people to be able to get out there and maybe shape their lives. You also say you go out and talk. Yes.
Yes.
So when you're talking to young people and you have them in your school, what would you say is the current biggest setback for this generation? What's their challenges like? Or which ones would you say?
Right now, you realize that youth, students, I can call them the learners, as per the CBC says, dictates, is that one of them, they have a challenge with drug abuse. It is on the rise. Each and every school right now, you might realize that there is some element of drug abuse. And another thing, there is a lot about the issues of early pregnancies.
Yeah,
relationships.
Surprisingly, you know something? I was listening to the radio.
Yes.
Yesterday morning. They're talking about early pregnancies. Guess what number Kenya is globally? We are number 3.
Number 3. I had it in the morning.
You had it also, eh?
Yes.
I was like, I can't believe it.
You can imagine.
In the entire world,
yes,
we are number 3.
Yes.
For those of us who are parents, that is a shockingly, it's quite a statistic that makes you sit up straight and ask yourself, something we need to do. Because you know what happens with early pregnancies, it then leads to possibly single parenthood, absentee fathers, and then that leads to broken homes and children with issues, because if you're raised without your dad already, you're starting from a point of questions.
Yeah.
You're starting from a point of rejection, and then we have men who are also. It also now gives us men who are mostly irresponsible, Yeah. And in some cases, women who might do anything to raise a child. Society suffers straight from the world, from the early pregnancy. you know, and trust. You can't even add trusted parents. Everyone is mentally disturbed, high blood pressure. You know, we get into those diseases that are, you know, encumbered by stresses, and you know, generally it's a big problem. Well, in your school, when you're in school, how, because you're in a mixed school, yes?
Yes, it's a mixed school.
Yeah. How do you guys tackle the issue?
Urban school, actually.
Yeah,
yes.
urban school.
You can imagine.
So the kids there are quite informed.
Yeah.
You know, they are with it. How do you tackle this issue in terms of even having a discussion with the students? What angles do you use?
Before even answer that, you realize that it originates from home. For example, it is I can say it's a weakness from the parents. You realize that some of the parents are not even open with their their children. They tend to be a bit, you know, okay, African culture, there are some of the things you cannot, kuna vitu hatuwezi sema.
Yes, of course.
So, you know, I think the message to the parents is, first, let's try to bring these children close to us. You know, when we win them, they will be able to open up to us. At least they can inquire. And let's avoid those fears like, how can I speak some information? How can we talk with my daughter? Maybe I'm a father, you know. How can I discuss some issues with my daughter? Yes. So let's, as parents, I can advise them that let's try to be open to them. At least let's discuss these issues. You know, if you don't talk to them, somebody else will be able to tell them in a better way. Yes, they might be coaxed at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in the school setup, of course, it has gotten to a point, the teachers are like, they're acting more even than the parents themselves, you know? They tend to be closer to the students than
you know, there's a saying that
parents.
says it takes a village to raise a child. But all of us have to be in the village. Parents, teachers, none of us can be absent from that particular conundrum.
Yeah.
In the raising of, and too many of us parents, of course, are more concerned with what we put on the table than what we put in our kids.
In our kids, yeah.
You know. So long as they're well fed,
but they have pocket money, they have shopping,
yeah.
You have paid fees, so what else?
But
But you know, it's not just about providing. It's about raising this person. You see? If you raise this person well, after 18 years, there'll be they might not undergo that conundrum of confusion, that they cannot be independent in making even decisions. Yeah.
True kabisa.
Yeah.
So and those are the issues and challenges that we have to see. So for those parents that are watching us this morning,
yes,
and the few students who are, because you know students wanapenda wanapenda kuona movie wako holiday.
Especially it's a holiday.
I tell you, if there are students watching, by the way, you should send a message. By the way, we'll give you a shout out. For most of the parents who are watching, why should they get this book for their students?
Okay, as it speaks by itself that it is a student guide. So parents, I'm sure that basing on the experiences that I've gone through as a teacher right now, and as a student at some point, and a student of life, I can tell them that they should ensure that at least their children acquire this book, because the information that is there, I'm sure that this is just what we have said is just about, it's a summary of it actually. So
just
I'm
scratch the
sure,
surface.
yeah, actually it's just, I can call it, it's a skeleton part. Yeah, so they should get up into it, at least they should acquire for them. At least I'm sure they'll not be the same.
You are sure they'll not be the same.
Yeah.
As for you know, if you are in those places where you can give advice to, you know, to government, to people who do policy, especially for students. A lot of focus is now on you know, the CBC learning, on, you know, the structure of the learning, and you say challenges are one, you know. We only mentioned, I think, alcohol and drug abuse, and then you mentioned teenage
pregnancies and relationships
as well. We've got bad relationships. We've got, of course, mental disorders caused by
irresponsibility,
by issues, yes, either self-inflicted or stemming from home. So we have all those issues. In as far as the Ministry of Education is concerned, what do you think, now that you're a teacher, should be their focus? especially with learners who are in high school?
Especially high school, I can say that with the current curriculum, I'm a curriculum developer actually. I'm a specialist of curriculum in my master's level. I can say that to the government or even the ministry, they should try to embrace the issue of life skills and even mentorships, for example, to schools. You know, it's not just about teaching them the subjects. There's something else behind that. There is life to live. Huh? Yes. You realize that, of course, okay, there is life skills, but it is not embraced. You realize that's the time the class teacher is going to class to teach mathematics or English. And this is the time that should have been reserved to discuss matters that affect our children and our students for that purpose. So they should try to embrace this kind of the child development. Yes. I believe with that, at least we shall be able to reduce some of these ills in the society. That's why you realize that at the end of the day, there is a rise in crime. The crime rate is really growing up because the character has not been built well.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
And that's a terrible thing, actually, that
It is.
we have that going up as high as it is.
Yeah. You know, it doesn't matter. You might produce an airplane,
Yeah.
but with poor character.
There are some who say that this idea of talking to students,
Yeah.
mentoring, motivational speaking, as you call it, what you are doing, even what you're doing in the book,
Yeah.
ni mambo ya wazungu.
I like that.
Watu waende shule wasome na
Watu wasome.
They'll say we were not given this
We
thing
were not
and we
given
are
this
okay.
package.
Yeah, hii mambo gani hii sasa?
But you know, I can say they were okay because there was less there was some information by then. It was not as at now, where there is internet. People are really exposed to each and every kind of atrocities of this world.
Yeah, your child is bombarded. You know what my daughter told me, and she's only 8 years old. She asked me whether Calais love milk. And I told her yes. She asked me why. So I started thinking of the why, and then she said, "Never mind, I'll Google it."
You see, at 8 years. Don't be surprised a kid of 2 years will ask you about the password of YouTube.
I said, yeah. First I felt inadequate. Unafikiri mzee ajui. But then, that's how they're doing it nowadays. Running to Google for many of the things that, even double checking what you're saying.
If it is true.
Yes.
Yeah. So, with a lot of information, such information is very important to them. At least they get that guidance. Yeah.
Those zamanis where African folklore stories would suffice it to say, people would say, don't do bad things, utakulwa na nyang'au, and children would believe it.
They believe it.
And it would sink in. They'd be afraid of this nyang'au until they are 20. And then they realize, the nyang'au is not there.
Try that now.
Try that now. They'll shout.
Sure.
Hiyo ni uongo.
Hiyo ni uongo.
Not so funny.
Yeah.
I think we're almost out of time here.
Yeah, okay.
I want to ask you to just, give a parting shot to all the students that are watching you and parents. What word can you tell them this
I
morning?
think the parting shot to them is, let's nurture the parents, let's nurture these students. Let's ensure that we give them the best. It's not, at the end of the day, it's not about just ensuring that they are okay in terms of finances. Let's provide something extra to them. And we are sure that we are raising a better generation. To the students, I want to tell you that it is not just about, at times you have to sacrifice. Of course, I know you are working, but sacrifice, give everything a priority. When it is time to go to school, can you go to school and do the best? If it is about going to church, go to church and do your best. If it is about doing anything at home, do the best. Yes, and pursue excellence.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So glad you came by.
Yeah.
Where do we find the book?
Right now, the book, of course, it's still under the lock and key of the publisher. But of course, if they want to contact me, should I give them my number?
Yeah, sure.
Yes, if you want to order a copy of this book, if you want to invite me to your schools to speak to your students, for the teachers, the parents, my number is 0722 567 602. 22567 602. Social media, you can just reach to me at using Jonah KERICH. That's my name, the way it is. Thank you.
And you'll be found. Thank you, brother, for coming. Thank you for sharing.
Yes.
Breaking the Glass Ceiling, it's a student's guide to educational success by the book by KERICH-JONAH. You can reach him on those numbers he has said and on his, social media pages. And let's try and change the young people together.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming through.
Thank you, Levi. Have a good day.
Right, that's 59 minutes for today. We invite you to keep watching so you can stay tuned for Hello Sue coming up, and have a lovely day.